Subida Internacional Al Fito 2021 Hill Climb is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Elite Gaming, ESTV, and Motorvision.tv.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth round of the European Hill Climb Championship here on R-Factor 2 for 2021. We are on the Subida Internacional Al Fito, which is in Spain, as you might have imagined by this point. My name is I'll be taking you through the action here today with 3 heats as normal for this hill climb event. See who comes out on top and can score some more championship points for this championship, which we are already 3 rounds into. We're going to have a quick look before we get on with anything else at the championship standings, because they are very interesting indeed. First of all, the team standings, which is currently being led by Equip Regal, which is Sebastian Runner and Eric Tattel. Then the Thunder team, junior racing team, that 1, 2, 3, separated by 7 points. And if you extend that out to the 4th place team as well, then you've got 12 points separating the top 4 teams. And by the way, these guys don't have to be in the same class either to be scoring points for a team. You can be in 2 different classes. It's probably useful to be in 2 different classes as well, because otherwise you're not fighting against each other, if you see what I mean, for the points. So yeah, that's a very interesting team championship that we'll be monitoring throughout the year. We can move on next to the E2 SC SS3000 category, which is not becoming any less of a mouthful. It is Sebastian Runner who's currently leading that, and Ludovic Ferrut, who's not too far behind. Runner was the only E2 car last time out. However, he's not alone this time. Mark Best, who's currently in 4th, it will be challenging him tonight. We've got Francois Carratti, who was there on the Reshberg. He is in 3rd place at the moment. In the other E2 category, E2 2000 category, it is Chris Bennett on his own there in the Tatus, which means he's a little bit lonely and winning all the races, but it's kind of competing against yourself sometimes on a hill climb, just going to go faster and faster with every lap time. So yeah, he's currently leading that one. Hopefully he might get a couple of other entries into that one throughout the rest of the season. Next up, it's E1 Plus 2000 with Tobias Bashirov and Agius Andre dominating so far. It's been a real battle between those two, and it means that there's only 7 points separating them, and a very big margin down to George Mallis, who's in 4th. Philotheos Argyru is in 4th. Mallis is in 3rd. Angelopoulos is in 5th. His name's so long he can't even fit it on the screen, and the same goes for Parimpoulos as well. 2 Greek drivers in 5th, 6th, and one of them joining them in 7th as well, actually, with Haris Gavalas as well in that category. Moving down to the biggest category of them all in terms of the entries, 25 entries into Group H for this one. First of all, Philip Raab is currently leading it, even though he's not won an event so far. Vincent Tukulai is just behind him by 4 points, even though he has won 2 events out of 2 that he's competed in. Julien Delage, the opening round winner, is in 3rd at the moment, with John Spider not too far behind in 4th. Then we have a bit of a gap back to Huart, Gartner, Sivaki, Blassel, all of those guys who are a little bit further down, and Eric Tattel as well, who's joint leading the team's championship with Ronat that we saw earlier on. And finally, E1 2000 without the plus is being led by Javi Rodriguez at the moment. 20 points separate him and David Tashev. Leonardo Bartolini, the Italian, is in 3rd ahead of Nick Kotsidis in 4th. Those guys separated by 32 points in the top 4. So Rodriguez has a clear lead in that category, and yeah, he'll be looking to extend that maybe here today. He's currently out there at the moment in front of Kotsidis in this session. We've got qualifying going on right now. 19 drivers currently connected to the server, but still 20 minutes before we get the first heats underway on this hill climb. So then, it's round 4 of our championship here in 2021. 8 rounds to go after this one, ending, I think it ends in late November, doesn't it? This championship. And we don't visit 2 countries very often in this one. I'm pretty sure this is the only Spanish round we're going to have in the 2021 calendar. We've already visited France, Austria and Portugal, but we're staying on the Iberian Peninsula for this one. Visiting Spain on this occasion. I'm just checking if it's the only one, but taking a little while to load all the tabs I've got open at the moment. It's a little bit chaotic over here, but yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit more about this hill climb while we're in qualifying at the moment, because it's certainly a very interesting one to my eye anyway, and I'm not very experienced with them, but I do think it's an interesting course. We're in the Asturias region of Spain, which is in the north, just to the west of the Basque Country, which is kind of near the French border in the north of Spain. And it's 5.3 kilometres long, just I think roughly 150 metres longer than last time out. We had here, it's over 60 kilometres from any major town or city. It's a very, very remote area, or you can get yourself into some very, very remote areas here in the Asturias region. You go absolutely miles without finding a single town or city. It starts right at the bottom with a village, but yeah, it's very, very isolated in the Asturias region. So yeah, it can be a long way from any help, let's say. 319 metres gained through the 5.3 kilometres today, which is just under 6% gradient of an average, which is one of the steepest we've had so far this season, by the way. So some of the slower cars definitely going to be feeling that, although nothing that these guys are not going to be useful. This climb actually, where well, I can't remember what it's called in Spanish, but the Subida Internacuional Fito can actually be tackled from 2 sides. well, there's two ways up in this direction, and there's one way up in the other direction. It's actually steeper on the other direction, so if you were to drive up this mountain on the side we're going here today, then you would have a fright going down, because it is steeper on the way down towards the I can't remember what the city is called, but it's 60 kilometres that way, and in that direction anyway. The finish is at 365 metres, which is the smallest altitude we've had so far this season. This climb only starts at something like 46 metres or something. It's very, very low to sea level when we start, but you do tend to reach fairly lofty heights by the time that you actually finish the hill climb. And I'll say you finish the hill climb, these guys don't actually get to the top of the mountain. So far in these events, we've finished right at the very top of a mountain or a hill in this one, but this climb is actually 9 kilometres long if you were able to do it in its entirety. It carried on for a further 4 after our finish line today, but obviously we're not going quite that high on this occasion. It's been in the European Hill Climb Championship in real life since 2002, every year since then, and we've had 6 wins for the Acela FA 30, which is going to be driven by Sebastian Renat today, and we've had 4 wins for the Norma N20, which is going to be represented by Mark Best today. So we'll see if it's going to be Acela winning out for again, or if it's going to be Norma drifting or switching the kind of momentum in this event. We'll wait and see on that one. That's all the facts of this climb, and I guess the one thing that's immediately apparent is the technicality, of this course is so tricky. I would say, I know I haven't driven any of these yet, but I would say personally this is the hardest one we've had so far this season. It's just so twisty. If you remember back to the Rashberg, for example, or even last week on the Rampa Valpero, it was exceptionally quick. There was only 2 or 3 hairpins to speak of. This one hasn't really got any major hairpins, but it has got a lot of little corners, like you can see on your screen for pretty much throughout the whole of time. Well, I guess that is a hairpin, but there's a lot of little corners left and right, a few bumps here and there as well, as you'd come to expect. So yeah, it's a very technical course, in my opinion. And of course, I'm kind of glad for these guys that it's not going to be weather affected, because I watched a video a little bit earlier on, I think it was from 2016 or 2014, I can't quite remember, but it was one of the faster looking cars, and it was on a slightly damp day. And the problem with a damp day in the Asturias region, as you can see, I'll try and get a better view for you. Well, you can probably see from this camera angle, to be honest. It's very verdant around here. There's a lot of vegetation and a lot of greenery around the region. You'd find a lot of all kinds of stuff really, but it's just very green, and that obviously only means one thing. It means that it rains a hell of a lot around here, and we've experienced that in the past on this event in the European Hill Climb Championship. It's been it can be very tricky indeed, but when it gets damp around here, it gets very difficult, because the moisture kind of hangs in the trees, and it can be very variable. Grip can be very variable from one corner to the next. So blessed relief for these guys that we're running this in summer, and it can get exceptionally hot here as well, which is helpful for these guys today, because blimey, that was close to the water. It's very useful for these guys on this occasion to not have to worry about the rain really. This is Andreas Valleas, by the way, currently on your screens right now in the Mitsubishi Evo 4. Famous car we're seeing this season, very regularly picked. 6 entries for, oh my goodness me, that's a hefty accident, and ouch, going to need a new car after that one, I'm afraid. Front wheel off and front bumper off as well. Let's hope that we don't see too much more of that here tonight. The best 2 runs out of 3 actually count here tonight, so it's not quite all in pandemonium like it was on the Rashberg, where we saw all 3 runs counting. That was very tricky to deal with indeed, these guys, and fortunately it's not the same on this occasion. So it's a bit of a different challenge on this time around. but no less tricky. Quite slow speed, certainly. 5.3 kilometres, one of the longest ones we've had so far this season. It's given us 1 minute 46.1 lap time so far from Sebastian Runner, who's currently leading. Oh my word, that's not the line you want, I'm afraid, from the number 65. That was Marcus Blassel, by the way, going a little bit wayward. He's doing pretty well in qualifying right now. Just to update you in case you've not been with us already this season, qualifying sets us up for the running order in the race. The best time on the board goes through and rolls off first when we actually get into the proper times, when they do indeed come. Blasso is currently going to be rolling off second in Group H. Currently, he's 2.7 seconds down on John Spider, who's absolutely flying out there at the moment, and currently leading Group H. This is Philip Raab, championship leader, just behind him. Or just behind them. I'll drop my pen. That's for writing down the times a little bit later on. We'll try and do the maths and get the results to you. And just to update you on the results from the round a couple of weeks ago, it was Sebastian Runner who took the victory overall, of course. 30 seconds was his margin, because it was Tobias Baschedorf in second in a much slower car. Adios Andre came up short by 5.7 seconds, I'm afraid. In Group H, it wasn't much closer either. At this point, 9 tenths of a second separated Vincent Tucola and Philip Raab, taking his second place of the season. And then in the E1 2000 category, it was a big victory for Javier Rodriguez by 9 seconds. All 26 drivers who started the event though did indeed get to the end, which was very, very good to see. Right, we'd like to see them all at least completing 2 of the runs out here, although it might become a little bit more tricky to do that here today. As you can already see, Philip Raab into the wall there, I'm afraid, and there was already somebody lying there at that corner. He's just added some more to that collection. Bit of a lock-up as well. Oh, and into the barriers, into the mountainside. Philip Raab goes back to the pit lane. This is Bojan Sivaki, by the way. We've not spoken very much about him at all. It's in a BMW 2000 Tii, and I think it's a pretty good-looking car, actually. 2.5 litre BMW engine, nearly 400 horsepower, but over 1,000 kilos, so it is a little bit on the weighty side, I guess you could say, and a little bit on the not very powerful side as well, but I'm sure it's quite a lot of fun. We'll go around here. He's in Group H, by the way. Currently, I think he's 4th in that particular category. My knowledge, anyway. Been a steady start to the season for him. Might be looking to break the podium this time around. We'll wait and see. There's so many cameras needed for this circuit. Oh, sorry, this climb, because you can't see around the next corner. So we're going to spend quite a lot of time looking at trees and mountainside, because, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of greenery around here. And it's pretty bumpy in places as well, lots of trees around, and of course a mountainside to their left as they climb. So yeah, it's not nice. It actually gets less steep over the top as well, if you were to carry on. But it does flatten off a little bit more. But, not to say that this is outrageously steep, but it is the steepest we've had so far this season, or one of the steepest anyway. It is, by the way, indeed the only Spanish round we're going to have this season. We're going to head into the Czech Republic next, followed by a visit to Germany, then Italy, just a trip over the border to Slovakia, and then back to Italy again. We're doing the Coppa Paolino Teodori and the Trento Bondone in Italy, and then we're going to Switzerland, Slovenia, and then Croatia. Spending quite a lot of time in that region of Europe, actually, which is all fine. I'll be over the European final result by then, so we can visit Italy. It'll be alright. Currently the number 10 going up the mountain as well right now. Eric Tatov, this is in 13th place. 13th place overall, I should add. That's not his position in Group H. That's behind Sivaki, I think, in 5th place. Going for Equipe Rigo. Regal, maybe. I think I'm going to try and Google Translate that. Because they are a French team. Renat and Tato both French, I believe. Unless I've got something horribly wrong. No, I haven't. That's all right. I seem to remember seeing L'Equipe is a newspaper in France. I'm not quite sure what just the. Well, it'd be helpful if I can spell it, but I'll try and get that to you before the end of the day. It's just interesting me really about what he means. Yeah, he's about to roll back up to the start line again. We're not too far away, by the way, from the end of qualifying. Just under 10 minutes or so. And so it's going to get pretty busy, really. Running out of the starting line. According to Google Translate, it means real team. Apparently. I'm not sure if I trust Google Translate or not, but there you go. That's what it says. Currently seeing Federic Tacher in 14th place. He's a little bit detached, actually, from everybody else in the E1 to plus 2000 category. I saw him a little bit earlier on, actually. He was right here for the very start of qualifying. I think he was the first person connected when I was having a look on timing earlier. He was the only person out there. Got a time in early. He was at the 2:17s when a little bit earlier on. Now he's into the 2:16s, and I'm afraid Mark Best has set off a little bit too quickly behind him. I'm not sure if he was led off a bit too quickly, but Tacher's got out of his way. And yeah, that could have been a nasty moment, actually. Right, just before the end of qualifying then, I'm going to find someone who's at the start. And can have a trip up the mountain with somebody, hopefully. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Sebastian Renat. It's just at the very start of the Subida Internacuional al Fito. Let's take a look on board of this hill climb with Sebastian Renat. Oh no, the curse of the onboard lap, and I'm afraid Sebastian Renat is in the wall and heavily damaged there as well by the looks of things. He's back to the pit lane. Oh dear, oh dear. We'll try and get a full onboard lap with somebody throughout tonight. I'm sure we will, but yeah, for now, Sebastian Renat in the barriers. I believe this is the chicane coming up right now. We've got, oh it is, oh my word, it is close. We were just talking about that while we were looking at that onboard lap there. I believe this is Parampilos, by the way, in 4th place. Or it was anyway, until he went into the pit lane. I said that this is a very slow speed and technical course. Well, it kind of is, but the one high speed section that you can see right now on board, here we go. This chicane, look how tight that is. Very, very tight indeed. Difficult to get your car through. Well, not difficult to get your car through there. It's not like a turning circle issue. That's very laggy, by the way. It's not like a turning circle issue where you're struggling to get around there, but it's so open. Just look at this. You can't. There's not really. It's not blocking off much of the road, if you see what I'm saying. It's really not, and you don't really have to move very much to go through it. It's a very, very big commitment. Oh, and that's a spin, I'm afraid, for John Spider in the 120. Let's see if we have a little bit more luck with Chris Bennett here in the Formula car, because he's in 7th place at the moment. But yeah, that chicane is totally crazy. It's the only high-speed section on this course is that little chicane, but it just slows the cars down just a little bit before that next braking zone, just to keep things a little bit safer, really. You've seen a number of chicanes so far this season. And that is another of them. Let's see if we have a little bit more luck then on board with Chris Bennett. He's driving the Tatius Formula Master up the Subida Internacuional al Fito. And I'm afraid the dangers of the chicane again. We've cursed somebody again with an onboard lap, yeah, we'll try again in the actual heats, because we're not having much luck at the moment, I think it's fair to say. But yeah, I'm sure, as I said, I'm sure we will get one at some point throughout the day. This, by the way, is the 130 of Philip Raab, championship leader. He's heading his way up here, and we'll just keep an eye on him and watch him up the mountain. We'll go for a commercial break pretty soon as well, because we've got to return in time for the first heat, but obviously we've got to set the running order in that time as well. Remember, the fastest time so far will go off first, and then after that the next slowest, and so on and so forth. Currently Sebastian Monat is going to be going off first with a 46.1, excuse me, and currently on the entry 22 cars are going to be out there here tonight, which is yeah, a little bit down on the week before, or a couple of weeks before, whatever it was, but yes, we've got 22 of them out there, so that does mean, oh, and that was a small trip across the gravel, the grass, excuse me. That still means we get 66 runs up this hill climb here. Oh my goodness me! Well, I've never seen anything quite like that, but Philip Raab back onto his wheels again, fortunately. I've never seen a camera shot where someone disappears from view and then reappears, but on their roof. That was quite spectacular, and I'm afraid not particularly nice for Raab. Another one of the Mitsubishis, this one, the 106. Another name I'm probably butchering, Andreas Valias, but hopefully not too offensive, my pronunciations. A little bit detached from the E1 plus 2000 guys at the moment, by the way. Currently being led by Tobias Bashadorf. He's also leading the championship. He's got 3 tenths of a second over Parano Poulos and 2.2 seconds over his main championship rival, Agios Andre. And I'm afraid Valias has taken a little bit of a trip across the mountainside there. Not particularly, not good news. Chicane again, doing its best to slow the cars down before this section here, this little chicane, and there's going to be a bit of a altercation between a couple of cars right now. Oh dear, oh, one of the Subarus, and oh, straight into the barriers. Not nice. That was a 65 car, I'm afraid, of Marcus Blasso getting halted slightly by one of the Subarus. It looked like a Subaru anyway. Could have been Gavalas, but I'm not sure if he's on the server right now. He is on the server. Could have been Gavalas, I'm afraid, but yeah, there we go. To update you in the other classes, in Group H, it's going to be John Spider who's going to go first. He's got 1.6 seconds on the field. Finally down in E1 2000. Rodriguez is going to be going off first, and I can't see any of his main championship rivals, or any kind of championship rival actually, in that category. Well, I can't quite remember what Lega Menta drives, so he could be in that category, but I'm not sure. Either way, Rodriguez looks like he's storming hot favourite, to be honest, to be actually taking a win in that one. The 91, Sivaki again, holding his own at the moment. Good to see. Just waiting for the end of qualifying, which is going to be just around the corner now. It's going to be very, very close indeed before we end qualifying. And we'll, yeah. Time to get towards the top now. We're not really seeing too much of the top of the mountain, but there we are. Finally got to see it, I guess, with Sivaki there. So yeah, there we go. And this is Rodriguez as well. We've not seen very much of it or at all actually today. I'm pretty sure it is Rodriguez. It is indeed. Yeah, championship leader. It looks like he's going to be extending that quite significantly actually in this one. He beat out David Tachev last time, the Bulgarian. Alright, with the qualifying pretty much over, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, the first heats of round 4 of the European Hill Climb Championship will be underway.
The Subida Internacuional Fito 2021 Hill Climb is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Elite Gaming, ESTV, and Motorvision.tv.
1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back to the fourth round of the European Hill Climb Championship here for 2021. I'm Ian O'Leary taking you through the day. So we're getting towards the first heat in this event. Apparently you can hear some static noise on the live stream, I've been told. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I'm not listening to it at the moment. But we'll try and get to the bottom of what that is, and then stamp on it so it doesn't happen. Because it's probably annoying. But yeah, we'll try and get that one ironed out. Sebastian Renard's going to be making his way towards the start line very shortly. And we'll get Heat 1 underway. Let's not forget that it is the best 2 times out of 3 that counts here today. So you can completely ruin your first, second or third run if you want, but not all 3, and not 2 of them either. You've got to get 2 times on the board at the very least if you want to finish the hill climb. Although, getting all 3 in at once does seem to be the best idea. None of the class winners from last time out DNF'd on any of their runs. So, probably better to keep in the group. I feel like we are going to see a few more DNFs here today, given the difficulty of this event. This course, I should say. And the final entry, by the way, 24 cars on the grid here today, which is still a tiny bit down on 2 weeks ago, but really not very much. And even a little bit more than we thought in the final few moments of qualifying. Sebastian Renard and Mark Best are going to be fighting it out in E2 3000 anyway. Mark Best is currently 53 points adrift from Sebastian Renard in the championship, which is being dominated by Renard really at the moment. He's got 28 points on the field. Ludovic Farud doesn't seem to be returning, at least for these last couple of weeks.
Car 14, please get
Getting
ready.
the running
Car
order sorted
14,
right now, by the way.
please get
I
ready.
can imagine it's probably a little bit more difficult with people joining, and because they've been kicked out or disconnected or whatever it is. But all of that is behind us now. We're going to get our first run out there on the board, which is going to be good. Sebastian Renard gets us underway. It's the 4th round of the European Hill Climb Championship in 2021. We're at the Subida Internacuional Fito, 5.3 kilometres, ending at 365 metres above sea level in the Asturias Mountains of Spain. So Sebastian Renard not really able to use the high downforce characteristics of the Acela FA30 on this occasion, because this course is just so technical.
Car 106,
Listen to the 3 litre Zytec V8 working wonderfully though. It is a great sound to hear. He makes his way up the mountain, driving exceptionally well. We saw him with a little bit of an onboard run earlier. However, he did get himself into trouble in that one. Hopefully he can keep himself out of it this time around and put a good starting time on the board at the very least. He was in the low 146s early on, 11 seconds in front of Mark Best. It's easy to see how you can make up 11 seconds in a course like this, because look at the amount of corners there are, how technical it is, how on the edge you are, how many risks you have to take to go quickly around here. And especially with a first run DNF, really puts you on a knife edge for the rest of the evening. A little bit wide for that left hander there, it's compromised him into this hairpin, which there aren't many of around here, but there are a few. You want to get caught out. Here he comes towards the start, the finish line with the barriers, and over the line he goes now. We'll have a look what time that is. The 151.5 is a little way away from where he was earlier on in practice, but we'll see if Mark Best can at least go as quick as he was before, if not quicker. 51.5 then for Renat straight off the bat. We're looking at Tobias Bastardorf though, because he's sliding that Mitsubishi out everywhere. Making full use of that turbocharged engine. I'd imagine probably 4-wheel drive as well, that car. Although I don't know for sure. The way he's sliding it anyway, seems to be fully in control, certainly. About 2/3 up the hill now. Bashirov going to look to set the pace and try and get away from Paranopoulos, who was running in close in that qualifying session. It's a 55.4, by the way, for Mark Best. 3.9 seconds adrift already. Let's see then, Bashadorf really getting towards the top now. Gliding his way around here. There's a huge bump on the inside of that right-hander as well. He smartly avoids it. He's avoiding all the bumps very well, actually. This is a car that can take that kind of thing, but it's not particularly quick. There in that car does seem to be overpowering, even though he's doing his very best to kick the rear end out to give it some turn. Not to have too much right now. Don't want to be dancing right on the edge, but I do want a little bit of bite. Bashadorf then completes with a 7.3. Roughly where he was before, I believe, anyway. Paranopoulos not too far behind him in the Ford Escort Cosworth, I believe. Number 1 car. And he's pretty near to the advertising hoardings and the finish line as well. There they are. And over the line. Looks like he's gone ahead of Bashadorf there. He has indeed, Paranopoulos. A 5.3 goes a couple of seconds quicker. We can put that down to a little bit of a slower time from Bashadorf rather than anything else. Aguirre also comes over the line right now. He does a 9.8. Not taking advantage of Bashadorf's mistake at all there. That's not what he wanted. I believe he might have picked up some damage though. I didn't catch it myself. Angidopoulos is going to be the final one of the real front runners in E1 plus 2000 to complete a time, and then we get some Group H, and the Formula car is going to be coming up soon as well. Before we get to Valias. A couple of Group H cars to go before him actually, so a little bit of a wait for the next best of those cars. Currently, field separated by 4.5 seconds after only one run, which is a fairly big margin. But if ever there is a climb that will do it to you, it is this one. Oh, it's a bit of a touch on the wall for Angelopoulos right at the very end, but kind of hurt his time too much. It was already quite damaged, to be fair, his time, a 13.0. And that's not what he would have wanted from his early run. John Spider near the top as well. He did fantastically well. Oh my word, he's flying through the sky, and John Spider has no time on the board in the first run. Oh dear, oh dear. The pressure is now really on for the man who set the pace in qualifying. The pressure is going to be very, very much on indeed. Now the ball is in Philip Raab's court to try and take advantage of that. Andreas Valias is also out there at the moment, but I'm going to have a look at Eric Tato. We're going to try and get an onboard lap with somebody, and Eric Tato is going to be doing his best to get the best time possible. So let's see if he can do it. This is an onboard run-up, the Subida Internacuional Al Fito with Eric Tato. Oh, he stopped, and Eric Tato has fallen fallen, I'm afraid, to the curse of our onboard lap. Well, that's 2 Group H cars already, and I believe Philip Raab is also stopped halfway through right now. Philip Raab seems to have had some problems out there. Oh dear, oh dear. I think that's the top 3 Group H cars with problems. Raab is going again now, or is he? Not so sure. He is moving again, but I think he's been stopped out there. Somewhere up the hill. Marcus Blasel hasn't had any issues just yet. But a lot of these guys in Group H with a serious amount of pressure on. If that indeed is the case for the likes of Philip Raab. We saw John Spider go off. Things are looking alright for Blasel right now, but Philip Raab's not that far in front of him on the road. Vaki not a million miles behind Blasel. They're travelling up the hill. Let's hope that Raab is going to be across the line before these guys get to him. Otherwise there's going to be some unhappy drivers, I'm afraid. It looks like he's going to be okay. Raab is going to get there just in time. But it's not going to be a lightning quick time. Quite the opposite. Valias, by the way, is a good 10 seconds, 12 seconds down on the leaders in Group E1 plus 2000. It's not the greatest time from him, I'm afraid. And for Raab, it's a 48.0. That's a good 30 seconds off where he should be. So not a good time early on from Philip Raab. Oh dear, oh dear. Big drama. Oh, into the barriers. Oh, Marcus Blasel. Not the perfect run for him either. The top 3 all with crashes up the hill on their first runs. Blasel not with a perfect run either. Into the barriers again as he goes over the line. What lap time is that going to be? Just behind Valias. In terms of the order, it's a 21.4. It's basically wiping the slate clean here in Group H. Bizarre set of circumstances. Very, very bizarre. Ivaki is just about to complete, by the way, with Nick Coxidis also out there. Ivaki, that's a time that we were expecting. So, 5th place in qualifying for Group H. Actually, the only one who's been able to get a proper time on the board here. Very bizarre. This is Nick Koksakidis, by the way, in the Volkswagen Corrado. I said earlier on that Rodriguez was going to have an easy run of things today. Well, Koksakidis is going to try and make me eat my words here because he qualified in front of the Spaniard. In qualifying, it's a good save. But that was wayward, I'm afraid. Rodriguez is just setting off as well, so let's try and get an onboard lap with him then, as we go on board with the E1 2000 category. Up towards the line comes Rodriguez, then it was a 22.3 for Koksakidis, and Rodriguez does a 19.1, a fantastic lap time from the Spaniard there in the Honda Civic TCR. Turbocharged engine beating out the normally aspirated one, David Tachev is going to be out there a little bit later on, by the way, in that class. Vincent Tucular also is actually out there right now for Group 8. This one on your screen right now, and we'll just take a look at his lap time, I think, before we go to a commercial break. But yeah, he's going to be looking for a third win in a row, really. Philip Gartner, where's he going to go? It's a 20.7-ish for him. But he could have battled the Marcus Blassel on that occasion. Very impressive. Let's see if Tucular can do anything. He's been very, very impressive so far this season. He's only about halfway through his run right now, though. Only got Isu Legamenta on your screen, and Tucular's going to be over the line before we get to the line with our camera here. Boris Cavalas is also a late starter for this one. He's a little bit way down, but he will be aiming to set some good times in E1 Plus 2000. A lot of bodywork just through that corner there. Negotiated fine by Legameta. Tucular now 2/3 of the way through his run. Doesn't seem to have had any problems from what I've seen so far. Well, it's a big slide for Legameta, but he's gathered things back up again. Nicola in the very, very slow speed final few corners. And a very tricky final few corners actually, so what we've seen. Even at the final corner, people touching the barriers ever so slightly, so not to be pushed aside, certainly. Nicola over the line then. What's the time going to be? It's a 21-2 from Tukula. Well, it's not the fastest time of Group H by some distance, but it is at least a time on the board, which is more than can be said for some people. Coming towards the end of Heat 1, then we'll be back with the start of Heat 2 after this quick commercial break. You're watching round 4 of the European Hill Climb Championship in 2021, and we'll be back in a moment.
Subida Internacuional Fito 2021 Hill Climb is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Elite Gaming, ESTV, and MotorVision.tv.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back to the fourth round of the European Hill Climb Championship in 2021. We're just wrapping up the final first heat runs right now. This is Brenton Henderson, who's not been having a fantastic time of things, I'm afraid to say, out there at the moment. He's hit the barriers a couple of times, that golf looking very, very twitchy indeed, and it's even worse now that a bit damaged going up the mountain. We've got Fernando Sanchez to go as... Oh, he's on his roof now, is Henderson, and that's going to be the end of... Oh, no, it's not. He's back onto his wheels again. So he might be able to complete, but it's not going to be a barnstorming time, I'm afraid. Oh, maybe he's going to reverse up the hill. Try and turn around. Well, he's going down the hill now. Trying to turn around and back up it again. Oh, no, 3-point turn. Here we go. Going to be back going again. And hopefully get to the top. Meanwhile, a little bit further down. Oh. It's Fernando Sanchez. Neither Henderson or Sanchez were entered straight away onto the list here this season. But they're here now. Sanchez is in a Peugeot, it seems. Not quite sure what kind, or what 306. It seems he'll be in the E1 2000 category then. I'm pretty sure that Henderson's going to be in the Group H one because most of the cars are really. Well, whoa! He's gone through the floor and spiralling off into the countryside there, I'm afraid. So the DNF for Sanchez. Henderson also completes, by the way, with a 3-minute 31.8, which is not his best time, I'm afraid to say. So that's the end of Heat 1, and Sebastian Ronat is reigning victorious in that one with a 51.5. Needs to get to the end of this one in reasonable time, and he'll be well on his way to taking another victory. He's had 2 so far out of 3, and may well take another. Here today. Turn around between Heat 1, the different heats, by the way, a little bit quicker than it is between the qualifying and the heats, which is going to make things a little bit easier for us. Hopefully these guys will be able to get to the end of their runs this time, because we saw a lot of DNFs then. Lots and lots of DNFs. Safety car just getting itself into position, and then we'll be able to go with Sebastian Ronat. We'll try and get an onboard lap with him. We failed a little bit earlier. So we're going to try again. To try and get it to work. Just a couple of highlights on your screen right now, by the way, while we're waiting. Plenty of things to be looking at, and I'm afraid plenty of incidents, but I have to say I was expecting it after reviewing the course a little bit earlier on this morning. It looked difficult. Very, very tricky. And here we go with Ronat getting up towards the start line and the speed bump. Right then, let's have another look. Sebastian Ronat on board run up the Subida Internacuional al Fito with him. There's the line for Sebastian Runner, and a fantastic sounding engine, I have to say. It's absolutely fantastic. A 49.3 from him on that occasion, which is a couple of seconds and a couple of tenths quicker than when he managed before. Mark Best in the Norman, not too far behind. Oh, he's into the wall, I'm afraid, is Mark Best, but carries on. This Norman, by the way, statistically, is worse than the Acela in every dimension. 15 horsepower down, 8 newton meters of torque down, and it's 50 kilograms heavier. So no wonder it hasn't been able to win around so far this season. Over the line now then for Mark Best. What's the time? 59.1. Not Mark Best's finest run up here, it has to be said. Tobias Pashadov is supposed to be out here right now. However, I believe he's had a problem. Because, yeah, he's still in his garage right now. I didn't see him even leave. But it must have been a very early one, a very early off. And his first run wasn't that great either. He's got 2 seconds to make up on Paranopoulos. You can see on your screen right now, in the Ford. Pretty good sound in this car as well, but not as good as the Acela, you understand. The Sidekick V8 is my second favourite after the Audi S1's engine, which is just fantastic. Mainly because of the catastrophes it produces for the driver, to be honest. It's a real handful, and I'm afraid Philotheos Argyro is not here today. Over the line comes Paranopoulos. What's the time for him? 5.1. A couple of tenths quicker than what he managed before, so I suppose we can round it to a 5.2, really.
Car 106. Car 106, get ready.
Agis Andre also out there and over the line. He improves by a good second and a half, but still nowhere near Paranopoulos, who's dominating in E1 plus 2000 here today. Angelopoulos is the final one of the real front runners to go. Then we'll be taking a little bit of a look at the Group H cars, but they've not had a great time of it either so far. It's been a very messy first run for Group H. The top 3 in qualifying all having major problems on their first runs. They'd really like to not have to use them really, but they might not have a choice if the same thing happens again. Well, they won't. Especially in the case of Philippe Raab. 30 seconds down on where he's supposed to be, but he did complete, and he would be able to complete the event at the very least, but it would not be a second place like he's managed in pre-events so far this season. Oh, Angelopoulos, very close to the wall. He keeps it out though for now. He's got a good nearly 8 seconds to gain on Paranopoulos, who's just put in 2 great times there, only a tenth apart. Great consistency from the Greek driver. One of his compatriots in the field trying to better him over the line. Angelopoulos, and it is 26.3. Clearly some issues on that run that we didn't quite see. Chris Bennett also out there in the Formula car. Baleas as well. He's near the end. Marcus Blasel just a little bit further down the running order here. Try and find him. The order's very mixed up after a disrupted qualifying. Sorry, a disrupted first heat, I should say. We'll jump over to Group H then. Currently leading is Bojan Suvaki, excuse me. Croatian driver we were not expect to see leading at the start of this event, but the issues for everybody else has made it a thing. Marcus Blasso didn't have the greatest first run, but at least he did get a 21.4 on the board. Somewhat acceptable, I guess. Going to look to improve, certainly. Ivaki not too far behind him at the moment. There's a time comes over from Eric Tato. 17.8, much more like it from him. The DNF in the first run, and that's not quite as good as Ivaki last time, but decent lap time. Nearly at the line here with Marcus Blasso. John Spider also over the line with a 12.9. He's destroyed the field with that lap time. Blasso with a 17.4. Better stuff from him there. What about Sivaki? He's near the line right now. Try and grab him just before he gets there. In the BMW. Is Sivaki going to be able to go maybe quicker? He led going into this one, but 17.1, it's slightly slower, and he's not going to be leading anymore. Well, depends if John Spider can do something similar on his next lap time, because that was outstanding. At the moment, we've got E1 2000 mixed in with these guys, so Koksekidis is out there at the moment. Tuku La doesn't look like he's set a lap time. Oh no, sorry, he's just heading towards the start line himself. Nick Koksekidis, 22.3 on the first lap time for him. 3.2 seconds down on Rodriguez, who's on your screen right now. .8, a much better lap time from Koksekidis, a second and a half better. What about Rodriguez? What about Gartner as well? He's just behind him in the running order. Rodriguez over the line. Is it a good one or not? It is, it's very good indeed. 18.2, Rodriguez looked like he might be able to take victory in this one. David Tashev looks a little bit further behind these guys. Philip Gartner is out there right now, as you can see. Over the line for Gartner. 20.5 does improve. I haven't spotted Philip Raab up there. That's because I'm blind. He's at a 14.0, just over a second behind Spider. It looks like it's going to be between those two for the win if they can keep things together and on the road. But what about Vincent Tukula? He needs nearly a 10-second improvement to be in the conversation here. But given the pace he showed us in rounds 2 and 3, on the Rushberg and the Valpera, he might well have it in the locker. Let's see. Getting into the very slow speed ending to this lap now. You can see, well, you can't really see, these blind corners, they're everywhere. Oh, it slides everywhere and it's a bit of a touch on the wall. Not great news there for the Frenchman. Oh, sliding his way through that right-hander as well. Into the final couple of corners. And there's the line just in front of him. Where is it for Tukula? 16.7. It is one of the better lap times we've had all day, and he might be able to grab third, but it doesn't look like it's going to be another victory for Tukula here today. Well, they are the main second heat runs that we've just seen on our screens. We've got a few more people to go, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be back in a few moments' time with the very final runs here on the Subida Internacional al Fito. Sorry about those problems. I thought we were on commercial, but we weren't. We were having some problems elsewhere, and so we weren't. You were just looking at me, looking at what I was looking at. But anyway, it doesn't matter too much because Heat 3 will be here in a minute, and we'll be able to watch that. Henderson's just going to be coming over the line soon. I'm pretty sure it's just my screen that's just frozen. He's still going out there at the moment, and he will come across the line to be 19th overall, significantly better off than last time, because if you remember, he had an absolute nightmare, and yeah, was spinning around everywhere, and it was not a good run. But probably most of that was due down to a damaged car early on in the run. But yeah, much better on this occasion for him. And now Heat 3 will be beginning shortly. Sebastian Ronald's probably got this one wrapped up already. He can probably crash and a big moment on this occasion. But and still be fine, to be honest. That's the sound of the safety car, by the way. Don't look outside to see if the police car's just coming down your road. It's just the safety car. Sebastian Ronald will be out soon. I don't envy the person that has to sit in that car though, because it's quite loud. Of a siren, but anyway, these cars don't really have to deal with that one. In E1 Plus 2000, it's very interesting indeed, because it looks like for the first time this season, neither Tobias Bashadorf or Raghi Sandra are going to win here. They're separated by 7 points at the moment in the championship. I doubt that they are going to change positions. I think Bashadorf is going to extend his lead by 3 points to 10, but Paranopoulos looks like he's going to take a victory here, even if he doesn't do anything on this last run. 5.3 and a 5.2, it could be enough to see him through here. Right then, runner goes towards the starting ramp. Not really a ramp, is it? It's a speed bump and then a line, but whatever. Gets towards the start and he's off. A run that doesn't matter too much, but he's going to push all out anyway, just to see what he can do. He's been 3 seconds quicker than this before. Well, there is still time out there on the table, of course. Looks like he's going to try and find it as well, by the looks of things. Up to the high-speed section, the only high-speed section on this course. Just halted by a chicane, and then another chicane, really, which is... They just want that chicane to be a little bit slower for the drivers, so they just put that chicane in there, but doesn't make this section any slower, really, does it? It's all very quick stuff. One of the steeper parts there, you can just see a small crest, then it flattens off a little bit for this bit, and gets a little bit more undulating. Mark Best is going to be out there very shortly as well, so is our leader in E1 Plus 2000. Let's take a ride on board with him. Done a fantastic job so far today. Here's Antonis Paranopoulos on the Subida Internacuional of Fito. afraid. Antonis Paranopoulos goes for a spin, and it may not be costly in the context of the entire event, but be very, very costly indeed. In terms of getting the fastest time, not that it matters too much. 5.7 from Tobias Bashadov is not going to be enough to overhaul Paranopoulos, I'm afraid. What about Agias Andre? He's going to need something very, very special indeed. He needs a mid-4 to overtake Bashadov. That would be comfortably the best time we've seen all day by over half a second, and it would be impressive if he was to be able to manage that, but I don't think he's going to be able to in the Mitsubishi. Oh, a little bit scruffy. Looks to be turning a little bit better than Bashadov's car was, I have to say. Here's the final couple of corners. What's it going to be for Andre? I doubt it's going to be anything more than a third place overall. 7.7 is best time of the day, but not enough. Paranopoulos looks like he's going to take the victory in E1 plus 2. Now then, got some big moments coming up here in Group H, because it's John Spider versus Philip Raab. Spider is out there right now. He's on your screen. 12.9 from him in the first run. Well, I'll say it's the first run, the first competitive run that he had. He DNF'd the first one. Raab was 34 seconds down on the pace in the first run, so that wasn't great news, but he needs to beat Spider by 1.1 seconds in this run if he wants to negate the margin that Spider took from him on the last run. Spider coming into the last few moments. There's Philip Raab on your screen now. Angelopoulos comes over the line, by the way, with a 16.8. He's a fair way away from the other three. He'll be finishing 4th here today in E1 plus 2,000. John Spider over the line, a 13.2. Well, it's not inconceivable that Raab can do that. It is not inconceivable by any stretch of the imagination. He needs a 12.1 or better. He does a 12.1 on this run, then it comes down to thousandths of a second. Oh, he's in the barriers. Philip Raab, championship leader, is going to be losing points today, I'm afraid, because he's in the barrier and he will not be winning this hill climb. It's a big stretch to see anybody winning it other than John Spider now. Mansard Tukula is going to be far too far back to do anything. He lost a good 3.8 seconds on his first run, and gaining that amount of time on the way back is going to be very, very difficult indeed. Certainly give it a go, but that's not good news for Philip Raab whatsoever. Oh dear, oh dear. He could even ruin his chances of actually being second here. This is going to be a slower time, let's not forget. Valias comes over the line, and it's going to be fairly close between himself and Angelopoulos for 4th, I think, in E1 plus 2,000, but I think Pascalis Angelopoulos is going to have it. Ivaki couldn't complete his final run. A DNF for the Croatian on his final run, but he may still be able to get 3rd, depending on the time of Tukula. Philip Raab over the line. He's quite over the line before he has a spin. The very final corner, he's going to reverse over the line. Goodness me. A 29.3. A disaster for the championship leader. An absolute disaster. He's going to drop big points in this championship. Just drives off the hillside in frustration there. Now then, E1 2000, well underway. Nick Coxigidis and Javi Rodriguez. The final category to really settle in this one. Got the minor placings in Group H, but I'm pretty sure John Spider's going to be taking home the victory. Took home some victories in 2020, definitely more than one. He's going to be knocking on the door at Philip Raab's championship lead here. Julian Delage has not even turned up for this round. Vincent Tucula not on top form. So there's a chance here for Spider to go from fourth to first in one go here. See? Here's the E1 2000 category though. It's between Coxagidis and Javi Rodriguez. If he wants to have a shot at this, then he needs to do a 16.5 or better. Here does Coxagidis. You're currently watching Rodriguez on your screen. But a 16.5 or better is required here. Gartner, I'm afraid, has stopped in his run and he's DNF'd his run. That's Group H, but we'll worry about those again in a few moments' time. Or it's not as good for Coxagidis. It's a 19.1, it's a good enough seconds down on where he needed to be. Rodriguez has a 1.6 second lead right now, and if he can go quicker than a 19.1, then he'll be extending his lead in this one. Vincent Tucula also out there right now. Watch him in a moment, but what's the time for Rodriguez? Is he going to extend it from a 1.6 margin, or is it going to shorten? It's going to extend by a good 1.8. So nearly a 4-second victory for the Spaniard. He takes his third victory out of 4 in the E1 2000 category. Looks like Blassel's DNF'd his run as well. Haven't seen Eric Tato yet, but that's because I wasn't looking. 17.4 for him. He's tantalisingly close to Sivaki there, just over a second, but not quite enough to overhaul him. I'll do the maths in the final commercial break. As to the order, the exact order, but Tucula has the chance to come second here in front of Sivaki. Just needs to do a 16.8 or better. 16.8 would do it for Vincent Tucula to come second. I believe if he were to do that, then John Spider would lead the championship, but by only 2 points. It is a fascinating championship in Group H at the moment. Certainly my favourite category. Certainly if I was driving one of these cars, I'd want to be driving one of those. And in terms of the entertainment that it's bringing us here today, here this season, it's been brilliant so far. Tucula with a little bit of a mistake there, just drifts wide slightly. What can he do? What's the time going to be? Is it going to be a 16.8 or better? The high 12s are possible, I guess, in this car we've seen today. Tucula comes towards the line. Oh, it's a 15.7. A good second quicker than his last run. That's second place for the man who's had 2 race victories so far this season. Time to watch the final few runners come in then. We haven't seen a lot of Legarreta here today, but here he is. David Tachev as well in the Volkswagen Corrado we've not seen a lot of, but he needs nearly a miracle for second place here. Looks like it's going to be third on the day for him. Coxegidis is going to close his margin to Tachev to 9 points, but In terms of making an impression on Javi Rodriguez, it's not happening for any of these guys at the moment. Not even Bartolini, who had a fantastic start to the season with a win at the first round. But not been too good since then. Legarreta did get to the end, by the way. A 22-3 for him. We've got Tashev and Gavalas currently on the hill. Not seen too much of Haris Gavalas either. He's a regular feature, though, of this championship. Subaru and the Volkswagen out there at the moment. Ivan Moro just starting. Oh, there's his touch on the wall for Tashev. This is the Renault Clio. 2-litre engine, 300 horsepower, and front-wheel drive as well, which is making it very pointy indeed. As it kind of needs to be. Quite a big rear wing actually for a Renault Clio, that one. But not complaining. Fernando Sanchez also starting right now as Tashev's over the line with a 25-7. Resigned to third for him today. Right, he's not been able to challenge Rodriguez for the last couple of weeks. It's been a little bit disappointing for him as Moro finds himself in the barriers, I'm afraid. He can get himself out of there, but not looking good right now. And he's back to the pit lane. Oh dear, oh dear. What a shame. Oh no, front bumper there for the Subaru of Haris Gavalas. He managed to go for quicker than Tashev, but not great news. Well, he has some kind of problem somewhere up the hill. Brendan Henderson out there. I don't think Sanchez was able to get to the end of it. Oh, and Henderson's on his roof. Back onto his wheels again, fortunately, but I'm afraid it's the second run we've seen from Henderson here today that's had some kind of problem. Comes up to the chicane for the final time. He's going to be our final runner across the line, I believe. He is indeed. Oh, he's not even going to come across the line. The rear left is off. And I'm afraid Henderson's night is going to be a little bit short-lived. Well, that is it for the runs here on the Subida Internacional Al Fito. We'll be back in a few moments' time to confirm the unofficial results, if that's not an oxymoron. So don't go anywhere, we'll be back after the commercial break.
The Subida Internacional Al Fito 2021 Hill Climb is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Elite Gaming, ESTV, and MotorVision.tv.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Welcome back to the round 4 of the European Hill Climb Championship for 2021. Before we wrap up tonight, let's just go through some very unofficial results. Been doing the maths behind the scenes, trying to work things out, and I think I've come to a rough conclusion of what the results might be. But of course, they will be released on the website in due course, and we'll update you on what those results actually are here next week. Sorry, not next week. It's a couple of weeks away. The next round on the 26th of July, 2 weeks away from now. So we're in E2 SCSS 3000. I don't think there's any surprise in saying that Sebastian Renard's taken the victory ahead of Mark Best in this one. It was a bit of a one-sided race, that one. Sebastian Renard taking his third victory out of 4 so far this season. He's not finished lower than second just yet, and doing very, very well indeed, taking a really quite a big win on this occasion, adding 15-20 seconds. We're talking not particularly close for a run now, and it's another win for him, extending his championship lead now to what is edging towards 50 points, 43 points now, I believe, for him. In E1 plus 2000, it was a little bit more interesting with Paranopoulos winning out in that one. Tobias Bashadorf coming in second. He wasn't really able to challenge Paranopoulos all day and finished 2.5 seconds down. Agia Sandre comes in third, so Bashadorf extends his championship margin to 10 points. And I think Angelopoulos is going to be fourth ahead of Valias, although that position is up for debate, fourth place. I'm not entirely sure who is going to win out in that one, but we'll wait and see on the results, of course. Moving on to Group H Special, it's John Spider who's going to take the victory in that one. A fantastic drive from him all day today, meaning that he's going to take the victory by about 7 seconds in the end, because his closest rival, Philip Raab, had a mistake on his final run, and his first run indeed. 2 mistakes in 2 of the runs, and so he's going to finish 7th, only picking up 6 points on the day to bring his tally to 60. So he's going to be 10 points behind John Spider, the new championship leader. Vincent Toucoulard is going to be second place in this particular day, and indeed in the championship. He's going to pick up 18 points for that one, and the championship margin is going to be 2 points between himself and Spider in first. Delage is going to lose quite a lot of points in this, so he's going to be 23 down going into the next race, and hopefully he does mount a championship challenge because after winning the first race, he's gone off the boil just a little bit, which is a little bit of a shame. Bojan Sivaki getting his best race of the season, getting his best event of the season so far, with a third place here today. Very close between himself and Eric Tato, just a second between them. Tato missing out on the podium there in fourth. Fifth place for Marcus Blassel, who beats out Philip Gardner, who's going to be sixth ahead of Philip Raab, as I mentioned. So Group H, very, very entertaining indeed, going down right to the very last run, as it always does. Finally, moving on to E1 2000, Nick Koksakidis gave it a good go, but it's Javi Rodriguez who takes the victory. No surprises there either, really, which is extending his championship lead really, really quite large now. It has to be said, 30 points, possibly more than that, yeah, it's a big lead that Rodriguez has got after only 4 rounds. David Chachev comes in third in that one, I'm afraid. Not the best run for him today, even though he is second place in the championship. He will remain so, but still not his best run. They are the results and the likely championship standings resulting from the fourth round of this championship. And yeah, it was an entertaining one, a very, very difficult course indeed, and yeah, it was very, very tricky for all of these guys to actually negotiate, to be honest. Very entertaining for us, though. I hope you enjoyed it at home. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time with the fifth round of this championship on the Eke Homo Sternberg, which is in Czech Republic. I've completely anglified that, so I'm sorry for the pronunciation, but we're 1/3 of the way through the championship now, and we've still got 8 rounds to go, so make sure you subscribe to GTR 24H on all the channels, and we'll be bringing those races and events to you, including as well the Endurance Racing World Championship, which is starting up again at the end of August, and the Monza 12-hour special event, which is GT3 and GT4 cars on R-Factor 2. I believe you can sign up for that, and you can watch it as well. It's going to be broadcasted live by GTR 24H, as always. That is at the end of July. It's only a couple of weeks away now. So yeah, make sure you get involved with that one. Either way, that's it from us tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this event indeed at home. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time with round 5. Goodbye for now.
The Subida Internacional Al Fito 2021 Hill Climb is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Elite Gaming, ESTV, and MotorVision.tv.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.